What's up, friends, fellow card collectors? Card Hobbyist here, and today we are doing a video response for Fox Crew Cards and their annual MLB prediction contest. This is like I think the fourth time I've done it. Uh, but definitely one of my favorite contests of the year because it lasts the whole season. You do your predictions. You never know how it's going to end up. It's just fun to kind of mark what your thoughts were at the beginning of the season versus what actually what actually happened. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I think last year I did this whole almost 20-minute video on it. I'm kind of pressed for time while recording this, so we keep it somewhat short. So question number one is, who will win the AL East? I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. I think the Yankees have just as good of a chance of winning the division, if not a better chance than the Blue Jays. But I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. The Yankees adding Yordan was really good. But the Blue Jays got Varsho and you know, they got Chapman and Vlad Jr. and Bichette. They got a good core with Springer. They got good starting pitching. Kevin Gossman has really turned it on. At this point of his career, he's a really good top level pitcher. Manoah's good. I'm just going to go with the Blue Jays. I think they get over the hump and win the division this year. For the AL Central, I think this one's a little bit easier. I think the Guardians are just the best team in the division. Probably the Twins are second, I would imagine. The White Sox were really disappointing last year. So I'm going to stick with the Guardians as winning the AL Central. I don't really think it's going to be that close for race, but you never know. One of the teams might surprise. For the AL West, that's the Astros division. So you got to go with the Astros. I know the sexy pick might be the Mariners and their young staff and their young core with the Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez and them. That might be the sexy pick, but the Astros, they won the World Series. They're the defending World Series champs. How do you pick against them? It's hard to do. So Astros win the AL West. The NL East, I'm going to be a homer again. Say the Braves. That's my team. I gotta pick them, thinking with my heart here. The Mets, great. They spent all that money. They got great star power on that team. The addition of Verlander, you still got Scherzer. I think losing Bassett hurt a little bit, but they got a great lineup, great pitching. Diaz, that injury hurts, but I think a closer, it's a little easier to, the closer is not the most important person on the team. Yeah, they can be solid and really lock down that ninth inning spot, but Mets are going to be good. But I'm going with the Braves. Phillies made a World Series last year. Hoskins' loss is big, but just going with the Braves. All right, NL Central. This is down to two teams: the Cardinals, the Brewers. Cardinals won it last year. Brewers got those top two arms in there. I'm not sold on their offense being good enough. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals for NL Central. Plus, you got some lower tier teams in that division with the Pirates and the Reds. Although I think the Pirates might be a little bit better this year. And then the NL West. This is usually the Dodgers division, but I'm going to go with the Padres. I think the Padres finally get over the hump and take out the Dodgers this year in the NL West. They haven't been able to do it. They've been spending. It's like every year that they don't do it, they spend more money. They have such a star-studded roster. It's ridiculous. As far as like on paper, it's ridiculous. The Padres lineup. So I'm gonna go with the Padres. I think they get over the hump and win the NL West. More wins, Yankees or the Mets? This one's tough. I think the Mets, the top end of the NL East is stronger than the top end of the AL East. And I think at the top of the AL East, you got the Blue Jays and the Yankees, and then you have everybody else. I don't know how good the Rays are going to be this year, but the Rays are always they always overachieve. But then you have in the NL East, you got the Braves, Phillies, and Mets. And then you got an improved Marlins team who aren't a totally terrible team. And then you got the Nationals who are going to be probably pretty bad this year. I don't know. I just think the NL East is a little tougher. I said that last year, and the Mets and Braves both won 101 games, but we'll see how it goes this year, especially with this new schedule format they're using. It's gonna be interesting to see how that affects because you're no longer gonna be able to beat up on or I should say, beat up as much on the teams in your division that you're better than, because you're just going to be playing less games against them in total. So I'm going to go with the Yankees on this one, just because the Mets might have a tougher go at it in the division. More wins, the White Sox or the Cubs? This is a toss up to me. White Sox underachieved last year. I don't know who finished with more wins last year between them. I think I picked the White Sox. I don't know if I got that right or not. But I'm going to go with the White Sox again. I think the Cubs might be good, but they could be not that good. I don't know. The Cubs, I'm just not sold on the Cubs. Just a gut feeling. Um, they did pick up Dansby Swanson, but coming from a Braves fan, you're Cubs fans, you're gonna love Dansby Swanson. Don't get me wrong. He's gonna be a fan favorite pretty early. He's a great defender, one of the better defensive shortstops in the league. But like his offense will make you want to pull out your hair sometimes. Yes, he can hit you some bombs, but he's gonna strike out quite a bit. He's gonna chase some sliders out of the zone. It's just what he does. He's very streaky. When he's on his hot streak, you love him. When he's on his cold streak, you want to pull your hair out. But yeah, I just think the Cubs are going to underachieve a little bit this year. So I'm going to go with the White Sox for more wins. I say I'm not going to, make this too long, and here I am just rambling away. Not even halfway through. All right, Angels in the playoffs. No, Angels are not going to make the playoffs this year. I think I said yes each year that I've done this. I've said the Angels are going to make the playoffs, and they have not made it. So I'm going to say no. And number one, I hope I'm right. And number two, I hope I'm wrong, because I'd love to see the Angels in the playoffs. OHTANI and Trout, but I don't think they got it. I mean, they looked good last year, fell apart. Uh, it's tough to see. You got two dynamic players on the team. Mike Trout, who's been one of the best players in baseball for you know over a decade now, and just nobody sees him in the playoffs. He's only been in the playoffs once, maybe twice in his career. It's crazy. So I'm gonna say no on the Angels playoffs. 400 saves first. Kenley Jansen or Craig Kimbrel. Kimbrel's on the Phillies, I think, and then Jansen's on the Red Sox. I think Kimbrel's ahead. I'm gonna go a homer pick here again with Kimbrel. He was a former Brave, got his start with the Braves. I believe he set the all-time Braves saves record before he went to the Padres, and then elsewhere after that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kimbrel here. Marlins wins 74 wins. I don't know. Can the Marlins win 80 games? Sure, why not? But I'm gonna say 74. Why not? That's just, I have no reasoning behind that. It's just what I'm picking. More innings, DeGrom or Eovaldi, and how many? Oh boy, I mean, who knows? They're just gonna be injured. I'm gonna say Eovaldi. I mean, DeGrom seems like the start of the year it's going to be something, and then something pops up, and it's sad because he's such a good pitcher, one of the best pitchers when he's on, if not the best pitcher when he's on. Eovaldi, he's not on DeGrom's level as far as pitching. He's good, but he's not DeGrom. But I'm going to say Eovaldi pitches more innings, and I'm going to say 160 innings. NL strikeout leaders. So last year I picked Corbin Burns, and I think Corbin Burns did lead the NL in strikeouts last year. This year I'm going with a homer pick. Spencer Strider came out of nowhere last year, just blowing people away. Of course, there's always a chance he goes into a sophomore slump. People figure him out. Maybe, there's a mistake in his mechanics, tips off pitches, whatever. He probably needs to develop a third pitch. He's got a blazing fastball, decent to better than decent slider, which can sometimes be a wipeout slider, but the fastball slider play off each other enough to where you can get all them strikeouts. I believe if he developed one more pitch, whether it's a cutter, a splitter, a changeup, something, that's maybe velocity wise below his slider or around his slider, but with a different movement, I think would benefit him a lot. He might even get more strikeouts then, but I'm going to go Spencer Strider for strikeout leaders. 2,000 hits first. Andrew McCutchen, Jose Altuve, or Freddie Freeman. I was going to pick Altuve on this one until he got injured, and now he's going to miss, I think, a couple months. I think Freeman's the furthest away, but like he's a hitting machine right now. He's like in his prime of hitting. So, I mean, who knows? I think Kutch is the closest. So I'm going to go with Andrew McCutchen. Went back to Pittsburgh. Be cool to see him get 2,000 hits in Pittsburgh. Definitely a fan favorite there. He's back back to his original team. Be cool to see him get 2,000 hits there. Red Sox winningest pitcher. I don't even know most of the pitchers in the Red Sox. I know they got Kluber. So let's just go with Kluber. Corey Kluber. Kluber needs an Uber. We'll say Kluber is the Red Sox winningest pitcher. Why not? First manager fired last year. I said no one. It was funny because when I recorded my video last year, I specifically put up a picture of Joe Girardi and then picked no one. Because if I did pick somebody, it was going to be Joe Girardi, and Joe Girardi ended up being the first manager fired. And yeah, so definitely lost out on that question last year. I don't know if I'm going to say no one this. I don't know. I mean, this is such a crapshoot. You don't never know who's going to be fired. Managers get fired, and there's like a lot of times it's surprising. Like, I can't believe he got fired. Why'd they fire him now? I'm going to say David Ross for the Cubs. I mentioned the Cubs earlier, underperforming. Let's say David Ross. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they'd fire David Ross. I'm just going to say David Ross. It doesn't matter. I love David Ross too. And, former Brave. Seems like a great guy. Yeah, I'm just going to say David Ross. Okay, question 18. What team will OHTANI be on at the end of the season? I mean, the Angels would be the solid pick, but that would require them making the playoffs, I think. Do the Angels pull the trigger? If they're out of it early, do they try to get that prospect haul? Do they ask for too much? Who's able to pay that? Who will be able to pay for that rental, that prospect haul you get from OHTANI, a two-way stud that's good on both sides of the ball, pitching and hitting. It's like trading two players, right? So, the Angels are going to have to, approach it like that if they decide to trade OHTANI, in the middle of the season. So I don't know, like, who has the prospect haul, who has the young players and the money to maybe sign OHTANI? Because I don't see anybody trading all that away for half a year of OHTANI and then letting him walk in free agency. That's just a dumb move. And he's probably going to be the highest paid free agent ever, if I imagine. Barring any injury to OHTANI. I don't know. The Mets, I could see their owner doing that, trading away some of their bigger name prospects for OHTANI and then signing them to some ridiculous contract. I mean, Seattle's might be a pick if they're willing to spend that type of money. But the prospect haul on OHTANI trades, the Angels are going to ask for a lot, and a trade might not even happen. But I'm just going to say the Mets. Okay, Pirates win total. Another one's pull a number out of the hat, 71. Pirates got, a couple of good young players on their team, but it's still the Pirates. So I'm going to say 71 wins. Trout games played, 135 games. Trout's going to miss some time. He always does. For some nagging injury. But he's still probably going to hit 40 bombs and, hit over 300 or close to 300. He's just that good. But I say 135 innings or 135 games for Trout. Kershaw innings pitched, 129 innings, which is sad because Kershaw's still a really good pitcher. He just can't stay on the field. All-Star MVP. This is the time you pick your favorite player from your favorite team or a player from your favorite team. I think last year I picked Ozzie Albies. This year I'm going to go with another Brave, Michael Harris, the third. Michael Harris the third. Or is it the second? I don't know. Michael Harris. We'll go with him for All-Star MVP. All right, World Series team. Homer pick, Braves. Got to pick the Braves, of course. If the Braves had absolutely no chance of making the World Series this year, I'd pick somebody else, but they have a chance. They have a great team. So Braves versus, I don't want to say the Astros. I don't want to say the Astros. I want to will the Astros out of the World Series. The Astros are good. They might make the World Series again. But let's go Braves, Blue Jays. Braves, Blue Jays, World Series. Rematch of the 92 series. Total hits in the World Series. That's another arbitrary question because it all depends on how long the World Series lasts. Are they, shootouts? Are they one-run pitchers duels? It could be anything. I'm going to say 64 wins, 64 hits in the World Series. So, that is my MLB prediction video response for Fox Crew cards. Definitely check them out. I'll have their them tagged in the title, so you can just click on and go to the channel. If you want to put in an entry, you need to get it done before opening day, which I think is like right up on us. I don't know what day it is, but it's like in a couple of days. So if you want to be in on the contest, get in on it. You won't find out the winner until the end of the season, so it's a long running contest. But Fox Crew usually gives updates every month on who's in the lead, or what have you. But yeah, thank you all for watching this. Thank you, Fox Crew Cards, for putting on this awesome contest year after year. Remember, you can only control two things: it's your thoughts and your actions. So stay positive. Keep collecting the cards, keep supporting each other here on YouTube, and remember to focus on what makes us all the same instead of what makes us different. We'll get along a lot better. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.